We've already, I think we've done it.
All right.
That's okay.
All right, everybody, are we good, Graham?
Yes, it is showing. I'm just waiting for it to pop up on my user version, but it is showing now on our dashboard that we are in fact live streaming.
Oh, there's a cat.
And it looks like it is showing for patrons as well.
Good, okay. Great.
Well, we definitely have quorum with that cat.
All right, so we'll move on then to the financial reports. And turn it over to Andrea.
Okay. Yeah, so you have the report that goes until the end of September. Just a few notes. So we did just receive the invoice for the job evaluations, which we had done by the consultant Marianne Love. And that came in at $1,695. So that is just in the process of going through finance to be paid.
What was that for?
When we had the job evaluations done, so when we did the rearranging of the staffing model.
The consultant was Marianne Love?
Yeah.
Good heavens, we used to work together like 25 years ago.
Oh, really?
But it's the same one.
So that has just come in, and our schoolhouse products invoice is in the process of making its way through finance. So some of those big purchases are done and in the works. So the air filters arrived. We have a big stack of air filters in the back there, so we'll be sending those to the branches soon for replacement. So I don't have any concerns. Does anyone have questions about the?
Any questions about the financial report? Up to date? Seeing none, could I have a motion, please, to move and second the financial report as presented? And I'll get Adele and Paul to do that one. All in favor? Carried. All right, now we'll under new business. There's no business arising from the minutes that I can see. The new business is the draft 25 library budget, which I understand was dealt with last time and the September meeting as well. And there was a request, a direction to the CEO to proceed and develop a budget according to the cost of living increases and salary adjustments that were already programmed in. And that's been done. So the budget that's before us now is largely very similar to the one that was presented in September. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
All right. Way you go.
So the key numbers, I think that the group will be interested in the amount that we are requesting from County Council. So
if you have that budget in front of you right now, it's on the very first page under revenue, and it's the first and second item on that page. It's called taxation and taxes.
Yeah. Okay. So it's line 3500101. So if you look all the way over to the right-hand columns, you'll see the 2025 budget request from the county is $1,213,386. This is a 0.25% increase from our 2024 budget, and that equates to about $3,336. So that is an amount that is slightly, just a little over $3,000 more than our 2024 budget. And it's even less, in fact, than our 2023 budget request.
Great.
So that reflects the changes that we made in June to our staffing model complement. And you'll also note that the federal funding, we have 0 in there because we don't have capacity to have summer students. So that is a decrease in revenues, but it's also a decrease in our wages budget because usually the two offset each other. So I guess some key things to highlight. Overall, our revenues are overall down minus 11.13%, and our expenses are down 11.10%. 0% from our 2024 budget. So it's a very modest increase that we are requesting. Just a little over $3,000 more
Thank you.
than last year.
Are there any questions on this budget that you've had a chance to look at? It's very, very similar to the one with here in September. Jen, you've got your hand up. Go ahead.
You said revenues are down. Why? What would you attribute that to?
So the federal funding that we are not going to get, so that's usually 12,000 something. The percentage increase, it's very slightly less, more the municipal county funds that we're asking for. That's a percentage difference than percentages in the past. We're asked for a lot more of an increase. There's a couple other things. I decreased the user charges by $500. We did in our 2024 budget, we estimated, because we had increased the printing fees. During COVID, we were doing printing by donation. And then at a board meeting last year, we reinstated the 15 cents a page cost for printing fees. So we did a kind of an estimate of how much money that would bring in for us. And just as we're nearing kind of the end of the year, it's a little less than we thought. So it's about $500 less there. And there's also a difference in the amount that we're bringing in from reserves, because it would be a lot of money for
we did Dorset out of reserves last year, so that would be brought in as a revenue, even though there was an expense associated with it.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Some other things to highlight so if we move to page 2, so the wages have come down. The amount is $149,038 less than in the previous 2024 budget, which is substantial. For that section, wages and benefits were down 12.52%. And that is because we did the internal reorganization of the administrative team. So we've lost our admin support coordinator position, benefits, no benefits for the program and outreach coordinator. Hillary and I taking an unpaid day every pay period. So those are substantial savings that we have realized there. We do have a few changes for the materials and supplies section. I did request from finance that we add in a new line in there. It's kind of midway down in the 52 materials and supplies section. It just says material supplies and services. And what this will allow us to separately track the friends of the library. So they give us money for donations, but we spend it on all sorts of different things, like maybe AWE computers for kids or book club sets. So this will be a separate line for us to account for where the friends money is going. So it doesn't show a budget in there, but it's it's a new line anyway for us to track those funds. There's an increase in bibliographic services by about $2,000. So what we've learned, so that price of that is going up, but we've also sometimes receive book donations. So examples from the Canadian Parents for French, and they purchase the books for us, but we still have to do all the processing of the books. And so that they give us the books, but not the money for the processing. So that raises up those fees a little bit. So you'll see in programming.
Excuse me, when you say processing, you mean like cataloging and labeling and so on? Thank you.
In programming, so this is one thing for us to chat about. So the previous budget had been at $5,000 for the annual programming budget. It was increased by this board to $6,650 to accommodate for the ACF film license. We have numbers that have come in, to our programming and outreach coordinator for the ACF film license, and it, for the license that will allow us to show films at one branch in each of the four municipalities, it's going to cost slightly over $3,000. So I did increase that line. If the board doesn't choose to proceed with that, we can request that the additional money from the Friends of the Library or from another group. But yeah, it's not, all the prices of programming materials are increasing, and so I think it's a fair increase.
On the next page, I think, Andrew, the big change is under purchase of books. We had 70,000 and it's.
Yeah, so that's that looks like a substantial change. So so we had a much higher budget in 2024 for our book budget, because we had our book budget plus $20,000 that we had brought from reserves to pay for additional books for Dorset. So $70,000 looks like a substantial difference from 2024, but it's kind of reverting back to the way the budget looked in previous years. So it was, 68,000 was generally where it was at, 63,000, 68,000. So it went way up because of Dorset. It is going back to, well, not back to 70,000. Tessa did get a quote from our library bound, our book supplier, that they anticipate a 3.5% increase in the cost of books this year. So 70,000 does represent a little bit of an increase. We definitely, I tried to be very conservative.
But it's $15,000 less than 2024 because we're not buying books anymore for Minden.
For Dorset.
For Dorset,
yeah,
sorry.
and we paid for that 20,000 from our reserves fund.
Okay,
so
good.
So that's the reason for that. Yes. Did anyone have questions?
Any questions? Any of that, Adele?
So am I seeing that the purchases for hardware at the bottom of page 3, the $25,000, that's not being asked for from the county, is
So that
it?
comes from reserve.
That
So
comes
that
from
we need
reserve.
2 of our photocopiers, like the public ones, so the one here and the one in Minden. It's a very large expense.
Right.
So we budget $6,000 every year. We transfer to reserves so that we have big amount when we have to do the big
Right.
IT purchases.
Okay.
So we need 2 of the big printer copiers and a number of computers replaced. So that those funds will come from reserve
Reserves.
because
Okay,
it's
so
been allocated.
Right.
And then there's another $6,000 that we we paused that in 2024 to save money in 2024. But we'll assume that $6,000 then will also go to because it's a kind of an expensive year for IT replacement.
Sure. So the money's already there. We're not asking for county for hardware costs. Okay.
Okay, any questions from anybody on the screen? Seeing none, could I have a mover and seconder for this motion? Be it resolved, and it'll come from the screen this time, so get ready. Be it resolved that the Haliburton County Public Library Board accepts the 2025 draft library budget. Moved by, I think Walt had his hand up. You have a question, Walt, or are you moving it?
Oh, you're
Mute.
You're muted, Walt. You're muted, Walt.
Yeah, just repeat what you just said there, please. That what I'm moving?
So the motion is, be it resolved that the Haliburton County Public Library Board accepts the 2025 draft library budget.
Okay. Like I know that, I understand that me moving this and accepting this and the rest of us here, and we also realize that it's got to go to our council at county.
Yes, that's correct. All you're doing is approving this as a board and then recommending it to the county.
Yeah. Okay. I'd rather not move it then. Thank you.
Okay, that's fine, Walt. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Jen and Lisa, you're moving it. Jen seconded it. Okay. All in favor? Okay, great. Thank you very much. That brings us to the next item, which is the update, the municipal roundtable update. Anything the three of you would like to add to the good of the cause? So that budget that we just approved and will go forward to county council on
Wednesday, October the 23rd.
23rd, I think is when council's dealing with it. So Andrea and I will be there to present the budget on behalf of the board. Okay. Okay. No municipal roundtable update. The next regular meeting date is going to be November 13th at 4:00 p.m. And I have a motion, be it resolved that the October 9th, 2024 regular meeting of the Haliburton County Library Board now adjourned. All in favor? Moved by Jan, seconded by Lisa. All in favor? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much. A record time.
On a record.
Thanks, everyone.
Now,
Thank you.
Now, if anybody wants to hang around chit chat, now's the time.
Well, as long as it's not live.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Nobody would be interested in what we talk about anyway. All right, thanks.
Bye,
Everybody.
everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Have a great